In this video, I will talk about fear and God and how the two are very interchangeable. The thing is, as people generally become more fearful, insecure, helpless, God generally begins to appear, become stronger and stronger, which is what seems to be a general universal trait. And the fear that people possess and hopelessness, I believe, directly causes God, the human need for God. I believe it's an inborn genetic trait, a trait that is purposeful there. It is there for a reason, which is to help us in certain situations. Think that God is nothing more than a mind frame, that when people get to a certain point where they're fearful and hopeless about something, that people rely on an invisible friend named God to come to the rescue, because they are hopeless and fearful about the situation, to the point where it's almost like they invent an imaginary friend to help them deal with this hopelessness, this fear of death, fear of life, fear of not getting ahead. And that's why people, I would say, for every one time someone prays, when they're happy, probably about hundreds of people pray for when they're sad. So, I mean, there's no question about it. When people are hopeless, they pray. When they're happy, I don't really see many people pray. If people say, God, give me forgiveness, I mean, I really truly see God as a invisible friend that the human mind makes to give the energy and the movement to push forward, to get out of the situation at hand. And it really is useful. I mean, say if you're in an in-death situation, you start to get to a point where you feel hopeless, and when God or Jesus or someone like that comes to your mind, all of a sudden it becomes almost like a helping hand. I personally just see it as a genetic trait that people possess. And I think anyone is capable of feeling God. As me being an atheist, a couple times when I was at my most hopeless and almost near death, or felt like near death type situations, I started to become close to God. And then with fear, and then when the situation left, I became an atheist again. And I think it's almost like when you get to that point where you're so hopeless or fearful about something, and it doesn't have to be about survival, it can be something as simple as death or why there's life. And this faith God comes to answer the questions that humans can't answer. It's, in my opinion, a actual inborn genetic trait. It's like, it helps. I mean, if someone is that hopeless, if they didn't feel God or make up this imaginary friend to help them, and I personally think that it gives them relief and hope, and it's almost like God is whatever people want to see him. And it's a form of getting out of that hopeless situation, near-death experience. And it's true. I mean, if someone's in a near-death experience, they're fighting against cancer, they get to a point where they're delirious and hopeless, and they know they're going to die. If they focus on that whole death experience, then they put themselves in further risk of dying or not making it through, pulling through. However, if they see God come to them, which is quite often what happens, it causes people to focus on that God and hope as a way of their own selves. Like, God, what they're seeing is actually themselves, or what they want to view and see, and that their own strength to actually see themselves and to be able to pull through, because that face of God that people see, it pushes them through that situation so they don't focus on that bad portion. And I think it's actually a trait that humans have made to actually help survive near-death experiences and issues. And I think it really does work. And I don't think it's anything more than that. I think it's just, as I said, I mean, it's being an atheist all my life, being in the most hopeless situations and near-death experiences, the only time I've ever felt God. And as I said, it did help. I mean, when you think you're going to die and all of a sudden you see God come to you, all of a sudden you have like a newfound hope to get through that situation. And that's what I see God. It's just an invisible friend we make to make ourselves feel more hopeful and hopeful.